Herd Hierarchy.
Time is now. Let's go.
The top 10 NFL teams according to Colin. Number 10.
Rams. I bailed on them big 2 months ago, and now I think you got a locker room full of marginally decent guys who are bailing on the team. The defense has allowed 30-plus points in 4 of their last 6 games. Goff, his arm looks shot. He misses Cooper Kupp. He's got the worst passer rating in the league over the last 3 weeks. It's at 51. And I don't love the locker room component. Going getting big-name guys like Sue Aqib Talib, who I do like as a player, and Marcus Peters. And now they're on a losing streak, and you got guys going into the stands. This team, we spotted it 2 months ago. A lot of it's a sales pitch with a new $5 billion stadium coming. I think they won October. I think they're a pretty good team now. I don't even think they're a good team now. I think they're a pretty good team. They're at 10. The Patriots. Listen, I trust them late mostly because I don't trust everybody else. Here's the biggest issue. They're now not dynamic enough to win big road games. The thing I like about them, James White, Sony Michel, their running game. The thing I don't like, their front seven defensively, they have one guy who can play, Trey Flowers. That is it. It's just a bunch of dudes. Again, they're a pretty good football team. Will they be better in January? Will I trust them if they have a home game in January? Yeah, but they've never won a Super Bowl without a bye, and right now they're not getting a bye. Patriots 9. The Cowboys, I've had them close to this spot. Lots of things I like about them. I mean, they're 6-0 when Zeke has more than 20 carries, and they're 2-6 when Zeke has less than 20 carries. So it's pretty obvious if you're a coaching staff what you should be doing every week. Let's get Zeke 20-plus carries. And by the way, their defense is still excellent. They've held 6 straight opponents under 25 points. So, and that's really an impressive thing, especially when you have a limited offense that gives the ball back to the other team's offense. So Dallas is a very good team. I think they have a low ceiling. They're at 8. What do you know? Andrew Luck's good in December. He's 15-6 all-time in December. He's really good in December. The story, though, of this team, yes, it's Andrew Luck, number 1. It's actually their defensive front seven is way ahead of schedule. Even the people in that building thought we're probably a year away defensively. They've held 5 straight teams under 25. Since week 7, they lead the NFL in scoring defense. Luck is the primary story. They really thought they needed another 8 players to 10 players from the draft, and they have a ton of cap space, but their defense is way ahead of schedule. Crazy Pittsburgh. I mean, they are second in the NFL in sacks. In the playoffs, you play the best quarterbacks. I like teams that can pressure the opposing quarterback. And by the way, they're 3rd in pass offense, 4th in total offense. Mike Tomlin drives me nuts. Big Ben's a drama king. But again, here's something to remember. Like Dallas, they have not lost a football game this year when they've run for 100 yards. And so against the Patriots, they had some success running the football. So this is not a complicated team. Tom Brady's better with a running game now. Colts are better with a running game now. Cowboys better with a running game. Pittsburgh's better with a running game. If they can get that consistently, I have them at 6. Ravens, my dark horse Super Bowl team. Listen, I didn't think – I thought Joe Flacco, you'd have to have him playing well to win a Super Bowl. I don't think they're a Super Bowl winning team, but I will say this. You can't run on them, and they run on you. The NFL is not about doing a bunch of stuff. It's about having an identity and doing 2 or 3 things really well. They've held 4 of 5 teams under 260 yards. That is hard to do in 2018 in the NFL. And they faced all sorts of different kind of teams, and they're holding all of them to about 250 yards. And the other thing is, since Lamar Jackson popped in here, they lead the NFL in rushing. And it's not just lead the NFL in rushing. It's not a running back thing. Lamar Jackson is ad-libbing. People don't have a lot of tape on him. I wouldn't want to play Baltimore. I think they feel like the Chicago Bears a little bit. I got no interest playing Chicago. I got no interest playing Ravens number 5. Number 4. These are my 4 best teams in the NFL, and I think they're pretty close. Bears. Okay, they lead the NFL in takeaways. they're 10-0 and they can hold you under 24. It's real simple. They can't get into shootouts. They really can't. Mitch Trubisky, they have some decent backs. Allen Robinson, decent receivers. They don't, Anthony Miller. This is not a star-studded offense. Pro Football Focus says their 8 best players are all on defense. They cannot get in shootouts. Now, the good news is, this defense, especially if they're playing at home in windy weather, probably won't have to get in a lot of shootouts. There's a certain way they have to play, but I have them at 4. The Saints. At home, if you could guarantee home field advantage, they still have a tough schedule. They got to play Pittsburgh and Carolina again. I would put them at number 1 if I knew they were playing at home. I will say this. They're number 1 in point differential. That generally means you'll end up in the Super Bowl. But there is a real thing about the Saints that needs to be discussed. They can't throw the ball down the field. I mean, Ben Watson last night, the ageless tight end, felt like their number 1 deep threat. They do not throw the ball down the field. They have big plays because Alvin Kamara is amazing, but they got a little hole in their game. I'll put them at 3. I'll put Kansas City an inch ahead of them. Listen, Kansas City lost to the Chargers. Chargers are real good. I do think their defense will be a problem. I do think their defense is a liability. But I have these final 4 teams all bunched up. I had Bears 4, Saints 3, Chiefs 2, and number 1. I think it's the best roster in the NFL and a Hall of Fame quarterback playing the best he's ever played. They've scored 20-plus points in every game this year. They've won 10 of 11. They're healthy defensively. As long as Keenan Allen can come back by the playoffs at wide receiver and Melvin Gordon is back, it's the deepest roster in the NFL. They have a hole in their game, too. They have no home field advantage. Although this weekend will be crazy against Baltimore. But we have been on this, Joy, sometimes because I live in Los Angeles. People think I'm a homer for L.A. teams.
Well, and you were in the Chargers draft room.
I was. But I bailed on the Rams 2 months ago.
Yes.
And I embraced the Chargers 2 months ago. And all the executives in the league that I talked to, all the scouts, when I asked them, best roster in the league. Last year they told me Philadelphia. This year they all say L.A. Chargers. They don't have holes in this roster. Their rookies, Derwin James at safety, is first or second best safety in the league right now. So there is the herd hierarchy. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.